Florida homeowners, it's not a question of if, but when the next hurricane will come. No matter what Florida weather has in store, StormSmart has products that protect every opening of your home while improving the look, feel, and function. From durable aluminum shutters, high-impact windows and doors, to our innovative storm catcher screens, products that enhance the beauty of your home and keep your family safe. Because smart is complete hurricane protection, and smart is peace of mind. Call StormSmart today for your free in-home consultation.
When your power goes out, remember just how inconvenient your life can be. No lights, no refrigeration, no heating or cooling, no electronics. But with the Generac Home Standby Generator, you'll have power when you need it. Our Generac generators automatically provide backup power after sensing a power outage, so your life goes on uninterrupted. Get a free 10-year warranty with the purchase of any air-cooled generator. Call Generac Generators today. Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
Streaming from the ADC Action Weather Center in Studio A, this is Dennis Phillips Live. Brought to you by StormSmart. Protect every opening of your home. And by Generac Generators. Life is primitive without power.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Tuesday night edition of Dennis Phillips Live, and we have lots and lots of stuff to talk about. You may need to change the shading on your TV because we are breaking out one of the new hoodies and one of the new logos for DPL. Now, if you're new to the show, if you're watching on TV, or if you just haven't been around checking us out of late, this show is a very interactive show, probably unlike anything you've seen on broadcast TV. Because what we have going on here is on my Facebook page and on Instagram, by the way, we have all of the comments that y'all make. Questions. Now, we typically hold off a lot of the questions until our last round, which a lot of times there's such a thing called as a lightning round. Well, we decided to call this a heat lightning round because heat lightning is kind of a thing on our page. And if you know, you know. If you don't, you'll get it eventually. But what we've been doing for many years, our family has been big into rule number 7 as a method to pay it forward to the community in fundraisers that we do. Now, in our neighborhood that I live in Palm Harbor in Pinellas County, and our neighborhood has a massive Christmas light display. They've been doing it for decades. We moved in 11, 12 years ago and actually found the house because we were driving around looking at Christmas decorations, and we loved the neighborhood. We loved the spirit, the enthusiasm. So we moved in, and we've been decorating ever since. And we started doing a fundraiser, a hot chocolate fundraiser for local charities, Children's Miracle Network, Feeding Tampa Bay, Suncoast Animal League, Sunshine Foundation, lots of local charities. And the money that we've raised for the hot chocolate, we've donated toward that as well. And over the years, it's literally been tens of thousands of dollars in donations from y'all for $1 hot chocolate and $1 popcorn. That's the kind of volume that we have in the neighborhood. The HOA hates me. Like, you know, I won't even get into that. But we do it for charity, and it's just a wonderful thing. Well, the rule number 7 thing started back in 2012, and we'll get into that later as well. But the point being is we've kind of had this rule number 7 merchandise that we made available on, and it literally was our family doing it at home, dining room table. I would get home from work at 1 in the morning, and the dining room table would be full of stuff that I would have to box up, cups and wine glasses and T-shirts and whatnot that we made ourselves. And our daughter, Ryan, would draw a little picture, a little hand-drawn picture, and we'd put it in the box. It was a very big family thing. And those proceeds also benefit the same charities. Well, it got a little bit too big for us to handle. So there were so many folks who were getting rule number 7 stuff that we decided to kind of pass it off to some distributors, and we're still in the process of switching a distributor for a lot of reasons, but this is one of the new hoodies with the new logo. You may notice the colors look very hockey-like. They look very Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, of course, they're not officially licensed gear, but I will tell you that now the spot, channel 66.1, if you're watching on TV, 66.1 OTA, in other words, the way it works is if you have an antenna, and you can get an antenna for $20 on Amazon or wherever, you plug it into your TV, you go to your input in your TV and you click on antenna, and then it'll say on there, scan for channels. And it scans all the channels that are just out there, not cable channels, local TV channels. You might get some, you might not get some, but it's free. So the Tampa Bay Lightning, this upcoming season, are going to be broadcast. No longer are you going to have to pay for Lightning games. It'll be free on our channel, The Spot, 66.1. Now, if you're watching on cable right now, Spectrum and Frontier, we're on 17. Don't know if it's going to stay that way. I think they're going through the whole negotiation process. But at the end of the day, the Tampa Bay Lightning are being seen only on The Spot, channel 66. And that is going to be coming up all preseason games, all regular season games, first round of the playoffs. And apparently, I'm even going to have some dealings and some discussions with the folks at the Lightning for maybe making some Rule Number 7 stuff available with the Lightning involved as well, where the proceeds go to not just my charity, but also to the Vinnick Foundation. So there's things going on behind the scenes. None of it's set in stone, but it's pretty exciting considering y'all are really the ones who kind of started most of this with me so long ago as we've been doing this DPL thing with all these chats and everything. And it's, it's been a lot of fun. So by the way, just so you know, this ban button is designed for people who are rude. And I will give you a hint for the new people, all right? So there's somebody out here, Lori. Her exact words are, just get to the weather. Lori, if you just want weather, check us out somewhere else. We are not the taste for you, okay? It's like if I go into your house and you're serving salsa and you want guac and you're like, hey, where's the guac? Like, no, I'm sorry, right now I'm giving you salsa. Would you raise a, well, you might raise a fuss, but a lot of other people won't. So I'll say this again, all right? At this point in time, we are all over the place. We talk about our lives. We have tons and tons of interaction, and it is a big family atmosphere where I'll say this, as I've said it once, said it a million times, it's everybody out there in their backyard, in their lawn chair, just talking over each other, talking to me. We have a big discussion. We talk about community events. We talk about your lives. We've had get-togethers. So, Lori, if you just want weather, you can go elsewhere because we give you the weather. And if there was any serious weather going on right this second, trust me, I would be on it. But that's not the way we do it, okay? So, the choice is yours, all right? Now, I will show you a quick look at radar right now, and then we will get into what else is going on because at the end of the day, the main area of rain that we've been talking about, the main area of rain is well to the north, all right? And you're like, wait a minute, what happened to all this rain that there was all this talk about? Well, you see it. It is that blob off to the north because what happened is the center, I liken quite often the weather in Florida to a whack-a-mole game that you have at a carnival. You're like, you guys know what a whack-a-mole game is. You got the little mole pops up and then he moves over here and then he goes over and you try to get him, right? Well, when you have a developing tropical system without a closed low and out a real defined center of circulation, okay, it pops and moves all over the place. So the models don't know specifically where it's going to go until it actually forms. It's our best guess. It's the bottom line. Where is that low going to form? It's the best guess. And there's an agreement with the models sometimes, and sometimes there aren't. And sometimes we have 15 different ideas, and we try to blend them together to come up with the best guess. Until we see that surface low, that's what it is. Well, in this particular occasion, a lot of the models were hinting at a track way to the south. New Smyrna Beach, west across the state toward us. That's not where it formed. It formed this afternoon about 70 to 80 miles more to the north. And that means that blob of rain was 70 to 80 miles more to the north. So how does that impact us? How does that impact the northern Gulf Coast? We'll talk about that on the flip side when we come back on DPL. Okay, so those folks are still in commercials, or they are now in commercial now. So, so we can talk more. So I can, and then we'll go back to the conversations coming up in just a second. So, so Clay County, how you doing? Nice to see you, Nikki. Hope wants to know about the Largo bubble. Chipotle. So we're talking about Chipotle extra for guac. So, you know, look, we get new people in here, but here's the bottom line. I don't care who you are. If you get on here and you're rude, I'm going to call you out. It's real simple, all right? So that's just the way this show runs. And if I don't, the people on here will as well. So we try to keep it light and fun. We go in a lot of different directions. But comments like that, one more time, gone. All right, so we are back in 30 seconds, and then we are actually going to do a solid overview about what's going on and you know, how this will impact the northern Gulf Coast. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at the comments here. You're right. Vicky is hitting the nail on the head. So many people have been making this invest like it's got to be the biggest thing. I personally think it's just because they're bored and they got nothing else to talk about. All right, we'll be back in 4. We're back in TV in 3, 2. How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live, DPL for short, and we are going to jump right into the forecast. A lot of comments on Facebook. Look, if you're watching on TV and you want to ask a question, you can jump on Facebook. Some people watch on TV, and then they have their computer open for questions. One comment Vicky just mentioned, oh my gosh, so many different news guys on YouTube I've been seeing making this invest sound like it's the end of the world. You're preaching to the choir, Vicky, because I have never seen so many posts on Facebook about a rainmaker. Now, look, we had some serious rain around the area last night, flooding, and that's why we had a flood watch locally. In fact, let's jump into it. But I mean, I'm just thinking some of these people are just bored because, like, well, we don't have anything else going on in the tropics, so let's make a mountain out of a molehill with this particular system, because that's kind of what's been going on. So, all right. So anyway, here's the radar. You can't miss the blob off to the north. All right, that's where the heaviest rain is. There's still some rain across inland areas, but your low center is quite a bit farther to the north, and we'll show you that in just a second. All right. So, yeah, there definitely, Eric, no hurricane warnings, nothing of the sort. I'd be shocked if this even turns into anything, even a depression, right? But we'll get into that in a second. So there's a look at where the heaviest rain moved through Citrus, Hernando, Levy, Dixie County off to the north, and now it's moved out into the Gulf. Horseshoe Beach picking up some decent lightning right now. And yeah, correct. No politics. Denise is right on the button here. No politics on this. Oh, stand by. My daughter's calling me. Just a second. Ryan Phillips, you are live on Dennis Phillips Live. We are breaking into an intense analysis of what's going on in the weather. Anything exciting to tell me?
I got moved back up to first in the lineup.
Oh, so Ryan will be hitting leadoff tomorrow in the lineup. That's exciting. You have a tournament tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am in the middle of giving some weather, so I actually wanted to give weather. I did want to ask you, though, because there's one little story. We went to Panama City Beach for a tournament that she had. Tell the folks about how it went on the tree swing when you were when you went out over the water and how that went for you.
Oh, okay. Well, there was like this big tree swing thing where it was a rope, and then there was no like a buckle or anything. You were just holding on. So I held on, and then I swung once, and then.
And did you drop? Did you drop into the water like you were supposed to?
No.
What did you do?
Well, the rope was kind of like around my feet, and I was scared. So I went back, and then my dad was like.
In other words,
he was like, drop, don't drop, because there were like roots. So if I would have dropped, I would have fallen on the roots.
Yeah.
So I kicked off the tree, and then I went back. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah. So imagine this. Your daughter is out over the spring and you're like, drop, drop, drop. Because I was on it as well, too. And I was jumping off the thing. And then she held on, didn't drop. So then as she's getting closer to the tree, I'm like, hold on, hold on, hold on. And then, you're frightened for a second that she's going to drop then. But then you were good and you went back out of the water and you dropped, right?
Yeah.
And it was a blast, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I did belly flop once.
You did belly flop. I heard that. That was a smacker. So, all right, well, I got to get back to the weather. Thanks for the update. Congratulations on leadoff, and I will talk to you later. I love you, sweetie.
Love you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
And right there, that in a nutshell is DPL. That's my daughter, Ryan. Look, when she calls me, I pick up because to be honest, Ryan is kind of the highlight of the show usually. She just is. She is Miss Personality. All right, so looking back at radar again, the bottom line, I believe the reason we still had a flood watch in the area is not that necessarily we were expecting incredibly heavy rainfall totals today, but because we had so much rain yesterday and we were so saturated that it would take a lot less for it to flood. And there are those rainfall totals. I mean, you had a bullseye right there south of Plant City with over a foot of rain in about 3 hours. So it was absolutely crazy. So that was one of the main reasons, I think, why that flood watch was issued for the area today. Not that they were expecting a repeat, but the Weather Service was concerned we would see flooding with any additional rain because we were so saturated. Temperatures right now in the middle 80s, although upper 70s inland. There's a look outside at Ray J, cloudy and 86 degrees, but the humidity is high. The dew point upper 70s, so that gives you a heat index of 97. Today we hit 89, 2 degrees below average thanks to all that cloud cover. 76 the morning low. We normally drop down to 77. No rain today at the airport, but at least we're getting closer to where we're supposed to be. And obviously there are some areas that had much, much more rain than what we are showing at the airport. All right, there's a look at the satellite. Again, the big blob off to the north, some heavy rains from Gainesville over to Cedar Key, now out into the Gulf. But folks, here's the bottom line. As that low pulls away, it is going to take the rain along with it. So starting tomorrow, and matter of fact, my boss is at the beach this week, and I was talking to her yesterday before she left, and she's like, I'm going to be stuck looking out of the rain on the beach the whole time. I'm like, no, you're not. It's going to be okay. I think you're going to be typical July weather by Wednesday on. And matter of fact, today turned out to be a good day as well, where most of that rain went north with that low center. So tomorrow, I think we're pretty much back to what we've come to know in Florida, which is sunshine in the morning, scattered storms in the afternoon. And Bridget's saying, did anyone find the banana at TPA? I looked, could not find it. That's a post that I had on Facebook earlier on today. So there's a look at Thursday. More of the same, sunshine with some scattered stuff in the afternoon. And then you'll notice by Friday and Saturday, I think we start to dry out even more with just isolated to scattered storms. Temperatures, well, with more sunshine, we're going to be back in the low to mid 90s, so typical mid to late July weather. All right, here's the latest numbers from the Hurricane Center. They stayed on the 8 p.m. advisory at 40% chance of development into a depression over the next 2 days and 40% over the next 7 days. But here's what I was talking about. Well, first of all, remember yesterday I showed you that little area off the coast of Africa? It's still pretty early in July, and we don't typically see development this far out. I will show you one of the model data when we come back. But right there is the key to what happened today. You had an area moving from east to west. And if you extended that line across Orlando into Citrus or Hernando or Pasco County, you would have had much higher rain chances. So that did not move north along the coast. What it did was the center relocated. It's the whole whack-a-mole theme. So instead of that low being here, that low was here, and all the rain shifted from here to here and now is moving across. And at the same time, that lowers the chance of development in the northern Gulf and areas like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And we'll talk about that more as DPL continues. Okay, so we are now in a break again. So we'll be back and we'll talk a little bit more about that. And do I need one more break? Am I behind schedule? Probably. Yeah, I think this will have to be a short one. I'm living the nightmare my producers live with me on a daily basis. We've talked about this so many times, because especially Caitlin at 6, she's got a hard out at 6:30, right? And weather ends at about 6:20, 6:21-ish. Even if I go 20 seconds heavy, she is so tightly produced that there's just not any extra time at the end of the show. So if Dennis goes long, it hoses her. So I got to be really, really careful not to do that, because there's nothing to drop. A lot of times producers have stories known as kickers at the end of a newscast, and a lot of times if weather or sports goes long, the kickers can be dropped. We don't usually have a lot of kickers on our show. So without that little extra time, that little cushion, it makes it really, really difficult. All right, so Shay is in the house. I did not see Shay, but Anna Maria said that he is. All right, so we have 17 seconds back, and we'll continue. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to show some of the model data on the next one. Here we go. I'll show the model data coming in. In 3, 2. How you doing, guys? Welcome back to Dennis Phillips Live. These breaks on TV are awesome in the sense, Maritza, how you doing? Because I get to do all the hellos and the chatting during the commercial break. So again, if you are interested in conversation and seeing what everybody's saying and asking questions, most of the Q&A handles the last part of the show, and then I go over. So at 7:58, the TV show's over, the streaming's over, but we continue to answer questions on Facebook. Do want to show you this. This is the Euro AI. All right, and this model did a great job last year with a lot of tropical systems. So my computer that I'm running this show on wants to do a restart. Not good. That would not be very good. All right, so anyway, here's the Euro AI. Now, I show you this because of that little blob that I showed you off of Africa. So this takes us to Wednesday, and by the way, look at what it does with the little wave off of after it leaves Florida. Just kind of hangs out. The Euro AI does turn it into a depression and more of a rainmaker for Louisiana. I'll tell you, the Euro AI is probably on the high side for development. Most of them aren't, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 0Z run kills it. It's going to get very, very close to land, if not overland, and that makes it a lot tougher for development. But then if you look at tropics through next week, all's quiet. But remember that little blob that I showed you off of Africa? Well, look right there. Look on the bottom right side of your screen. I'll circle it for you. See that? So that's the models picking up on that feature. Doesn't really do anything with it, but it does show that it's able to make it across the Atlantic. And that is significant because once we start seeing systems hang together, they fight Saharan dust, they fight other things, but once we start seeing things hanging together, then the Atlantic season really starts to open up. But here's the bottom line, all right? The tropical system across northern Florida will stay weak. I guess there's an outside chance it could become a depression. I doubt it. Hurricane Center says there's a 40% chance. It is nothing more than a rainmaker, and it's no big deal. Do not cancel plans. Do not change your flights. Do not change your hotel reservations. Do not change walking your pet armadillo at 3:14 in the afternoon. Whatever your plans are, do not change them. All right? The flood watch that we have now is no longer an issue for us. They may have canceled it, truthfully. I haven't looked. We are, as this low is pulling away, it's taking the rain along with it. All right, we have one more break for TV folks, and then we'll be back with our Heat Lightning round on our last segment of Dennis Phillips Live. Okay, last segment. Eric, so it's a really good question. I will mention that on the TV people because I think that the AI stuff is it's an interesting philosophy, and it's one that I really agree with. I'll tell you why coming back. But Ryan, how you doing? Eric, good to see you. Nice to see you. Yeah, the new hoodie. The new hoodie's a little bright. It might even be a little bit bright for me. I ordered another one in royal blue and another one in like darker gray, which I think I'll like the darker gray better. But we're going to make them available shortly. We're just wanting to make sure that the quality's okay and the colors are okay. But this would be our our Lightning colors. I mean, that, it's not an official license merch, from the Lightning, but these are obviously colors inspired by the Tampa Bay Lightning and our new relationship, as they are now right on our air. If you're watching on TV, we are now the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that is going to be exciting. Amy said, am I going to be at the 100-year celebration for Palm Harbor? I have never heard of that. I did not know that was a thing, Amy. I don't know if I can make it or not. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. But it needs... where is the Toto concert Saturday night, Denise? All right, are we back? All right, so we are back. We're back on our last segment. It is a heat lightning round, and the first question is from Bridget, wanting to know how the weather's going to be like for the Toto concert. So Bridget is one of our original DPLers, and she is obsessed with the group Toto. I Bless the Rains down in Africa, Toto. Obsessed with the group. She travels the world to see Toto. Alyssa, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Kathy, good to see you. So yeah, I'm not familiar with that 100-year anniversary for Palm Harbor this weekend. So I did not know about that. I will have to look into that. All right, so I'm still looking for at the amphitheater in Tampa. Okay, on Saturday, you'll be good. There'll be some scattered storms between 5 and 8 o'clock, typical July weather. Certainly nothing widespread. It is heat lightning round. Mara wants to know rain at Epcot tomorrow. Isolated at worst, most of which in the afternoon. You should be good. All right, what else we got going? We got lots of folks in here, but I can scroll up the questions. Yes, we have sizes. David, the sizes on these hoodies, I think, go up to 3X. All right, brand new hoodie. Hey, I want to mention one more time, too. And I'm going to talk a lot more about this. A week from Thursday, meet and greet, Clearwater Threshers game. Be there. Clearwater Threshers is a great family entertainment spot to watch a minor league baseball game. My daughter's going to be singing the national anthem. I'm going to be throwing out the first pitch around 6:20. And then right after that, in the area around third base, we're going to have a big old meet and greet. So it won't be everybody bringing their lawn chairs, but there will be plenty of seating. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fun. Next Thursday, Clearwater Threshers game at home. I think they're playing the Bradenton Marauders. I think it's the Pirates minor league team. But, sometimes the games are almost secondary because it's just a great atmosphere and a lot of fun. So hopefully I will see you out there. You come on out, you say hi, you hang with the group. It'll be a really, really good time. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody out there. Rosemary, what about Thursday and Friday? You will be fine. I'm telling you, we are looking. Tracy's going to be there. Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. Anna Maria says she will be there. Awesome. Jess, good to see you. So let me see. What else we got? Natalie, how are you? Nice to see you. Bill, a lot of folks look, they're coming. A lot of folks like the hoodie. I will be posting a link on the hoodie shortly. I still want to make sure, because again, all the proceeds benefit Children's Miracle Network, Feeding Tampa Bay, local charities. I want to make sure we get all the details right for the colors, the fitting, and the sizes before we make it available. But on Etsy, if you go on Etsy and look Rule 7 Shop, you literally go to Etsy.com, type in Rule 7 Shop, you will see all of our Rule 7 stuff on there. Every color you could possibly imagine, and those proceeds benefit local charities. Saturday in Plant City, Lynn wants to know. Again, isolated, not even scattered, isolated storms, early evening. I think you're going to be fine. So Ashley says we need to add more weekends to hot chocolate. No, that couldn't happen because the HOA hates me as it is. So I can't even imagine adding more weekends. There's one person in particular, I won't get into it, but definitely it would not be a good thing. Kiteboarding tomorrow. Chris, you're going to be okay. The wind offshore will be great. Onshore, not so much. And again, I really don't think you're looking nearly the rain that we had. All right, so folks who are watching on streaming and TV, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, special guest, play-by-play announcer for the Tampa Bay Lightning will be here to talk about the new Tampa Bay Lightning relationship and their upcoming season. Folks, thanks for watching DPL. And we are back. I have no idea if that worked. I worry that when I type that and I click that and end it, everybody's like, oh, we're done, and then they log off. So that's not the way that we work. We'll continue on Facebook for a few minutes thereafter. And like I was just saying, so yeah, tomorrow night on DPL Plus, we'll have Dave Randorf, who's the TV play-by-play for the Bolts. And you guys know I was on the radio with Dave Mishkin this last season. Once I got to go up into the booth and meet Chief, and it was a blast. Had a really good time. But so Dave will be here tomorrow night to go over the upcoming season, maybe to talk about what the expectations are, to talk about what you'll see on TV and the new relationship. And I don't know if I had an extra hoodie, I'd actually get into wear rule number 7 one. I don't know if I have an extra one though. So I'm still working on that. So let's see, what else do we have here? The All-Star games tonight. You're right, Mark. Junior, he almost won the home run hitting contest last night. There was that controversy with the kid who made that really nice catch in the outfield. And, there were some people who said it broke Junior's, he lost his groove a little bit. I don't know if that's the case or not, but still looked really, really good. And, did not embarrass the team, was one of the better finishers for the Rays ever. All right, Jennifer, any rain coming to Holiday tonight? Let's go back and look at radar for you again. Let's give a quick little update on radar one more time. Go over here. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Do a little bit of radar. Let's get to the weather. It literally took, whatever. All right, anyway, there's a look at the radar, all right? So West Chase, just to the west of West Chase, picking up a little bit of rain toward Oldsmar. A little bit of rain from Hudson, north to Weeki Wachee. Obviously, the heaviest stuff is off to the north. We can go the last 3 hours here. Now you can see the spin. You see the counterclockwise flow as this is moving in. So, I mean, the reality of it is, guys, I don't think there's any doubt we were who's saying let's be political? Somebody just wants to be banned. And I get that. Look, there's something to be said. I borderline respect somebody who just wants to get here to be banned, because I do have the ability to ban you from all live streams for this life and every life thereafter. This button is more powerful than you will ever know. So just try me. Anyway, the Euro, that's right, the AI. Eric, thanks for reminding me. All right, so the AI models are very different in how they look at data compared to just a regular either ensemble or deterministic view, a single run, a single formula, if you will. What the AI models do, and I believe in this philosophy, I really do, the AI models take data, any data, all data that they could ever come up with over the last 50, 60, 70 years, however long it's been. I had heard that the Euro AI dated back to the 40s, the 1940s. The Google AI, I think, was dating back to the 70s or 80s, I believe. But at the end of the day, what happens is they take all that data, every bit of atmospheric data they can come up with, and throw it in the computer, all right? And it's there. So then what happens is it looks at the current state of the atmosphere and compares all the parameters of the current state of the atmosphere and maybe what's expected over the next day or two as well. But the data is in there, and the computer, the AI, goes back and tries to find the closest situation where this happened before. And if you're talking about tens of thousands of days, the odds are pretty high you're going to find something pretty similar. So the AI takes that information and derives a forecast based on how conditions were previously versus how they are now, and draws the forecast that way. And it's very similar to an analog forecast, where a lot of people use long-range climatology forecasts. You'll often hear long-range hurricane forecasts. Well, we found a similar analog back in 2014 or 2007. And what that means is you're looking at the long range, the upper level positions of certain weather features, Bermuda highs, troughing, whatever the case may be, and you look at, say, the Euro's 30 or 60-day or 90-day outlook, or the GFS or whatever, and you take that and you say, okay, well, back in 2008, it looked like that, and we had X number of storms and X number of hurricanes. Now, that's a very simplistic way to look at it, and it's way more complicated than that, I'm sure, but that's the mindset. You're comparing one time period to another. So in climatology, you're comparing a 90-day or a 60-day outlook. With these meteorological forecasts, these AI forecasts, you're comparing current state of the atmosphere from now to another time. And what happened then, you then think, all right, there's a good chance that it'll happen again because that's the way it played out before. That is how, and then it learns from that. So that is how the AI modeling works. And I find it fascinating, I really do. Yeah, Jake, absolutely. I mean, today's forecast, and if you're just tuning in, the forecast of all the rain and the flood watch. Now, I will tell you, I've been off last week, and if you were watching me, I was like, look, guys, I'll tell you it again. I told my boss, she went to the beach today. She's like, it's going to be a wash. I go, no, it's not. You're going to get a lot of sun. You're going to get some scattered storms. But it was even less than I thought. And the reason is, I'll show you again if you just tuned in, it's the old whack-a-mole theory. I mean, this is 100% what happened. It didn't move like this, right? The storm didn't just go zoop, or the low didn't just go zoop right up the coast. The center was going this way, and because it not formed, and that's so, honestly, it's one of the toughest things in tropical meteorology and forecasting. Before you have a low-level circulation, before you have an actual center of circulation, it's guesswork. And the models cannot, think about it, the models are pinning their forecast based on a starting point of a zero initialization, all right? So they're starting it at X marks the spot. Well, if that X turns out to be 70 miles away from where the X they thought it would be, then that weather is going to be 70 miles off. And that is exactly what happened today. Originally, the models were believing that that low would form south, where that line is that you see cutting across. But it didn't. The center formed way to the north. And that is a very common thing with tropical lows that are not organized. They kind of move around until one finally develops. And it's very interesting during hurricane season when you have a track that changes dramatically. And the Hurricane Center is really good about being cautious and trying to issue where their advisories are, or where their watches are, or where their tracks are. They don't like to make drastic changes because they know that more often than not, things will kind of settle in the middle. It's called the windshield wiper effect. So today was a perfect example of what you have to grow to expect with a tropical system that is not developed yet. It doesn't exist until you have that low-level circulation. And the low-level circulation formed 70, 80 miles north of where the models were saying it would. And they were guessing, and I'll use that word again. It's a word I hate to use in terms of the forecast, but it is. It's a guess. You're guessing where that low is going to form. And today, that low formed 70 miles farther north than where the models were and where the forecast was going with. I think I'm hearing some thunder outside. Let me see. Or that might just be a trash can. I don't know. Let me look. The two sound very similar from the studio. Yeah, that was probably a trash can because I'm not seeing anything. So there you go. But that's about it, guys. So got any questions for me? Let's go ahead and I'll answer a few questions, and then tomorrow we'll be back. Again, tomorrow I think we're definitely going to do weather, but we're also going to be talking, like I said, to the TV play-by-play guy, Dave Randorf from the Bolts. So that'll be a good portion of DPL Plus tomorrow as well. Now, Janelle, why is it my inner Ricardo Montalban? Is it because I look tan? I did notice that. With this isn't white, actually. It's kind of, I can't remember what it's called, like oatmeal, I think. But yeah, I know, I even said that to the camera people. I'm like, you might have to shade this camera because this is a sharp contrast with the white and the tan that I have after a week of softball. So anyway, HRRR for Friday, very isolated, Priscilla. Very isolated coverage. Like we're talking maybe 20%. Vivette, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm unhiding Mary. I think it saw the word trash and it thought that was bad, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, Ulna is correct. It is a guesstimate. Look, I firmly believe that once we have low level circulation and one that's trackable, we're going to be right more often than not. But until we have that, and that's the reason why I hate showing long-range models with a center that hasn't even formed, because they're so inaccurate. They're so inaccurate because there's no way a model is going to know where a storm's going to go when it doesn't even have a center to pin, right? It's just guessing where that center is going to be. And in today's case, it was 70 miles wrong. All right. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. Yeah, I know, Marilyn. The whole I have had the whole George Hamilton thing before when I'm really super tan. I have heard it. Okay, flying out of Tampa Thursday morning. Aaron, you are good to go. Susan, driving to Georgia Friday. Will you be fine? Yes, you will. Will the system end up in Nashville? That's a good question. Let's look. Let's look at the models. All right, let's look at the Euro here. All right. Actually, I don't have that called up, so let's go ahead and call it up. All right. Call up United States. We'll look at the GFS. Let's call up the GFS. So look at the 12Z for the US. There's 18Z, 12Z. Okay, here we go. So here's Wednesday. Here's Thursday. Got a front coming in. That's Thursday night. So now that's an interesting, okay. It doesn't look terrible, but it does look like you have a front coming in at the same time the moisture remnants of that system are kind of sucked into it. See that? That's kind of sucked into it. So I don't expect significant issues, but I do think you're looking at some rain on Friday for Nashville. So there you go. Any rain in Zephyr Hills overnight? Very little chance, Teresa. Next week in Ocala, tent camping, typical scattered stuff. Afternoon stuff, Ray. Very late day, early evening stuff. Next week looks to be a quiet week. Kathleen said, I look like an Oompa Loompa. I'm 6 foot. I'm not an Oompa Loompa. But they are orange. An Oompa Loompa. That's funny. Yeah, Oompa Loompas can't be 6 foot, but I get it. If I was a little guy, yeah, maybe. I'm not going to sing the Oompa Loompa song, but I do know it, as we all do. Okay. Oh, the national anthem's on for the All-Star game now. Okay, thank you. Mara, you're welcome. Miss tomorrow's forecast, Mary, isolated storms. Isolated, and most of which afternoon and evening. Destin tomorrow has a good chance of rain. Sarah, Destin tomorrow has a good chance of rain. Nothing to be anxious about, Brandon. Nina, Newport Richie, how you doing? Okay. Kimberly, no one's flirting, and if they are, I'm too obtuse to know the difference. Stuff goes right over my head. Calling me an Oompa Loompa is not flirting. I'm convinced of that one. Hashtag cha-ching with the GFS. Yes, Denise. Yes, Charlotte. See, I love it that you guys know that stuff. Here, let me jump back in here. And I know everybody here knows it. If you're watching, you know it. But if you don't, there might be a couple. Some joker on Twitter a couple of years ago thought that I was being paid by the GFS, whatever that means. Anytime I would mention the GFS, I would get a kickback from a math problem. So whenever I say GFS, I just say hashtag cha-ching because it's referencing the guy who said that. I gave him more time than he probably deserved, but it's funny. I mean, it is. Bridget, your comment got hidden because you said the suck zone, which is from Twister. It's not a bad thing. It's, you know, talking about the air suction, but Facebook apparently thought it was bad. Tomorrow at Disney, Zachary, I think you'll be okay. I do think you'll be dodging some storms from 4 to 6. Tracy, not a lot going on. The heaviest rain is north of us because the storm went north. No, you're not hitting anymore, Bridget. You were just on the suck zone comment. Scalloping tomorrow morning, Amy. I do think there'll be a couple of morning showers out there offshore, but they'll be few and far between. So you should be okay. Unless it rains on top of you, if you're like the 1 or 2 people that get rained on tomorrow, at that point, I would encourage you to reevaluate your life choices, because you're probably not making good life choices if you're the one being rained on and no one else is. Just throwing it out there. All right? Should be flying to Texas this weekend, coming back Sunday. You're fine, Kathleen. There are no travel issues. You're very welcome, Ann. Thank you. Indian Rocks tomorrow, Eric, you will be fine. Maybe a coastal shower in a couple of spots. A little bit better chance late in the afternoon, but it's still going to be coverage at about 30 to 40%. Any more rains overnight for St. Pete? Again, for the next few hours, 1 or 2 of those showers might make it along the coast, but I seriously doubt it. St. Pete Beach tomorrow, Maureen, sunshine more often than not, dodging an isolated shower. Yep, you just got hidden again for using that word again, Bridget. So I'll unhide you again. That's very funny, though. You're not allowed to say the suck zone, apparently. Water Street, Tampa Market, Sunday 9 to 2. You'll be fine. Southeast flow returns by then. Anything that does pop will be later in the day, Barbara. This is a hair and dust supposed to stick around. You know what? I will show you. Because we do get into weather eventually. Sometimes it's a couple hours down the road, but we get there. Patience is a virtue, my mom used to say. All right, let's look. Where is it? Right here. All right, so here's the Saharan dust forecast. So see, not a lot. You do get that blob that's going to be coming in maybe by later on in the weekend. The area down by the islands, the ABCs and whatnot. And quite a bit off of Africa as well, as you see. No bad driving weather. Nope. Wendy, I don't disagree with you. Disney's great in the rain because crowds are lower. Unless you know, some of the parks, a lot of the rides are outdoor rides though, and then you well, Islands of Adventure, you lose a lot of rides at Universal when it's rain. AL for the win in the All-Star game, Maryland? I don't know. I never really know on the All-Star games. Yes, Kathleen, I agree with you. I think. St. Pete Beach tomorrow looks good. All right, is that about all we got? I think it is. I don't think so, Bridget. I don't think it's that bad. But you gotta be careful. You never know. You never know. She's worried that she's gonna get banned. Not gonna get banned, but unless Facebook does it. Joseph is picking up on the flirting comment. Hey, Dennis, the white hoodie brings out the color of your eyes. Okay. And you guys are just now talking about suck zone from the tornado. It is a thing. If you've watched the movie Twister, you're familiar with it. See, anybody else? Yeah, I know, Tyler. I'm not even going to get into that one. Driving to TPA tomorrow evening, 6:30 across the Howard Franklin. You might see a thunderstorm at 6:30 across the Howard Franklin. Debbie, I will not rule out that possibility. Okay. Bridget's going to be a Toto. Bridget, I've never met anybody. That's not true. I mean, I know some people who are huge fans of groups, but I bet Bridget is the biggest Toto fan on earth. I would be willing to make that argument, that Bridget is the biggest Toto fan on the face of the earth. What else we got? I think that's about it, guys. Rain around the Skyway? Chris, I do not think so. I think we're good. And Jason said suck zone, and he got hidden as well. It is a thing. It is clearly a Facebook thing. It absolutely is. Skyway rain late in the morning? Nope, don't think so, Chris. Nope, Dexter will not, well, Dexter could be a hurricane, but it won't be this one. Oh, yeah, Mara, you want to go on test track? I've heard, yeah, they're reopening it. They've reimagined it. And I definitely want to get over there as well. Yeah, I've not been to Epic Universe, Amy, but yeah, like I said, your Epic Universe, I mean, if the rides are outside, they're going to shut down. And Islands of Adventure, most of the rides are outside. Okay, I think that's about, hold on. Mom flying in from Gulfport, Mississippi Friday morning. Jennifer, you're good. No worries at all. You guys are just all in the suck zone now. That's all it is. Inbound flight to St. Pete on Friday. AJ, you are good. No worries. Okay. All right. Tarpon Springs, nothing. Again, the forecast, the flood zone that was issued by the Weather Service, I have no doubt was issued because the anticipation was that low was going to continue to move west across the state. And it didn't. Well, it did, but the center reformed north, and it moved across the state, or moving across the state, off to our north. So we didn't get the heaviest rain. Areas to the north did because of the whack-a-mole syndrome. So, all right. I guess that is it, guys. We will be back tomorrow night with our special guest, play-by-play announcer from the Tampa Bay Lightning television broadcast, not the radio broadcast. Dave Randorf will be here. And I believe also Kyle is going to be interviewing as well for the 11 o'clock news. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on tomorrow night's edition of Dennis Phillips Live. See you guys.